It is possible some of you are wasting the grace of God upon your life right now. And how are you wasting that grace? When you receive the grace and you are just waiting. You are waiting in churches for miracles to happen. You are waiting in your prayer house for miracles to happen. You are waiting for something. You are waiting for confirmation. Or you are waiting for, to be sure. Or you are waiting for the second confirmation. Or you are waiting for something or the other. And you are just expecting that today it will happen. Tomorrow it will happen. Maybe something will just happen. Maybe somebody will show up. Maybe, those are the people who are wasting the grace of God. And also, how should we do, or what should we do so that we don't waste the grace of God? How can we respond to the grace of God so that it's not wasted? How do we respond to the grace of God so that it's not wasted? Well, Paul gives us the answer here. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 10. Paul said, and by the grace of God, I am what I am, and his grace towards me was not in vain. Why is the grace of God towards Paul not in vain? He said, because I labored. I labored. Remember the word labored. I labored. So those people who are saying that hard work is a curse. So you want to tell me that Paul is cursed? You want to tell me that Paul is under a curse? You want to tell me Paul is under a curse? Do you want to tell me Paul is under a curse? Do you want to tell me Paul is cursed? Why didn't Paul just say, well, one day of grace? Why didn't Paul just say one day of grace or one day of favor is better than 10 days of hard work? Why didn't Paul say that? You answer me now. You tell me, why didn't Paul say one day of favor? Do you think he lacked favor? Do you think he couldn't claim the promise that one day of favor is better than 10 years of work? Do you think that he couldn't claim grace? I mean, he had the grace already. But he said, despite the grace, it was his responsibility that the grace of God would not be wasted. It was his own responsibility that the grace of God would not be squandered. So for the grace of God not to be squandered, for the grace of God not to be wasted, he needed to work hard. He needed to work hard. It is the hard work that justifies the grace. It is the hard work that brings about the fulfillment. So he says, the grace of God in me was not in vain, but I labored more abundantly than all the other disciples, all the other apostles. I labored more abundantly than all of them all, than all other apostles. I mean, he was so serious about labor, he knows that grace is not enough. He knows that the hand laying of the apostles is not enough. He knows that being with Jesus alone is not enough. And all the other apostles that he is talking about, that he labored more than them, all of them were with Jesus. All of them were with Jesus. But then he didn't help them. The man that became first, even though he was the least of the apostles, but he overtook everybody and became first. And he's giving us the secret here. What made him to become first is hard work. What made him to become first is hard work. He said, because I labored more abundantly than all of them, so I overtook all of them. From being the last and the least, I became the first. I became the first. Why? Despite the fact that those ones were with Jesus for 3.5 years. But being with Jesus for 3 years alone, even living with Jesus physically and eating with Jesus physically, didn't help them. It doesn't matter the amount. Even if God, Holy Spirit, and God, the Father, Holy Spirit, and everybody is living in your room, even if Angel Gabriel and Angel Michael are coming to dine with you every day, if you don't work hard, nothing works. If you don't work, nothing works.